Teaching number 110. Disciples, Elijah has come to prepare you and has left elevation and peace in your spirit. Truly I say to you that you do not know who Elijah is, or who he was, or who he will be, but the moment will come when you will contemplate him and say, Lord, we did not know how to recognize who the shepherd was until today. I am going to converse once again with you in the language of love that I have taught you, so that you may achieve perfect communication with your Father. It is not your envelope that feels my divine presence, because it is not your eyes that see me, nor your ears that hear me, nor your lips that speak to me. Your bodily senses receive my manifestation through a human body, but the essence of the word pronounced by the spokesman is the divine part that your spirit receives. You are soldiers in the long combat of this life, and you will all reach the land you seek. What joy for your Father and also for your spirit when you arrive at the promised kingdom after having gone through so many vicissitudes and having sustained so many battles. It will be when the Spirit is finally imposed on the flesh and through it manages to manifest its light. It will stop matter from being the obstacle, the abyss, and the tempter of the Spirit. My marked ones will be recognized on earth. Even when their hands are closed to hide their gifts, they will be discovered. Even if they keep silent, men will be surprised by my teaching on their lips, and even if they try to hide the sign that I have placed on them, it will be highlighted and reveal them. But why hide themselves? Is it because they still feel weak and clumsy? I will continue teaching them until they are strong, full of faith and love for my cause. Then they will fear nothing. The concept of men about the spiritual has changed. My light has made them understand that the Spirit is free to believe. I do not impose a certain creed on anyone or force anyone to love me. The lands prepared with the dew of my grace will be favorable for you to cultivate this seed. The chains of religious fanaticism will be broken at this time and idolatry will disappear. The Spirit will cease to be a slave and will rise to seek me on the path of truth. The evolution and the knowledge that the Spirit has gathered in life today allows it to carry out the mission that I have assigned to it. It is true that you were not born at this time. You are spiritually the same people whom I have been teaching in all times, which have reincarnated age after age, because in a single existence you could not have fulfilled the great mission that brings you to your destiny. Sometimes a life is barely enough to sow a seed, without giving time to cultivate it and even less to see it bloom. In many of my teachings I mention the people of Israel, because they were an instrument of my divinity to give lessons and speak to humanity. From them I poured out my love and my pleasures, but also the great tests of my justice. I used their love to give my teaching, as well as their weaknesses and unbelief. Kings, priests, publicans, and even the most ignorant men were instruments for my lessons and examples. But behold, while some in this time have come to resurface in other lands to recognize that the promised land is not Canaan but my kingdom, others, who have only inherited the blood of that people, still live attached to their traditions and the material interpretation that their ancestors gave to the divine lessons. I have changed everything for my new manifestation, sites, media and means of communication, to destroy the ignorance, confusion and misinterpretation that has been given to my previous revelations. Just as the sun appears in the east and you see it at the zenith at noon, to later contemplate how it hides in the west, thus the light of my spirit has come from time to time advancing from the east to the west, so that you do not limit my greatness and my power to places, to men or to races. Today you temporarily inhabit a new land, which you also found by divine announcement, so that it, although temporary, would be your inheritance. Full of sweetness this land was prepared, but other peoples have made your life bitter and hard. Despite this people will never have acts of revenge, only forgiveness for their brothers. Judea was also a pasture for foreigners, until they turned it into ruins and rubble. Pain has been your crucible, in it your spirit has been tempered, because tomorrow you will have to give humanity the fruits of evolution of your experience. The war has not penetrated among you. What new lessons could you draw from it? What medal could it give to those who have already grown strong in pain? Your mission is different. When 1950 has passed, you will arise as prophets, your lips will speak under my inspiration and you will do wonders. By that time, you will no longer wait for my word to come forth from the spokesman's lips like now, but if you prepare yourselves in prayer, everything that you had apparently forgotten will come from your heart, because I will continue to speak to you through your conscience. You will see with surprise men of different religions rise up to follow you, confessing that the one you had among you was the Master. They will be like Nicodemus, who alone spoke with Jesus, whom he recognized as the Son of God, loved him as his Master and wept bitterly when he saw him leave Jerusalem, carrying the cross of injustice and ingratitude. At that moment his sobbing spirit told me, "Master, I will follow you." And he followed me. Blessed are those who rise up like this in this time, without fear of men, because in them my light will be. What do you think, my children? I know it, you think that the Father has just entrusted you with a new year so that in it you can take a step forward, a year that sometimes seems endless and that for the Spirit is just like a second in eternity. A year passed already, leaving its mark on men. Listening to my word as judge has awakened your spirit, and through your memory passed the memory of your works, words and thoughts, of all your sufferings and joys, of everything you achieved and what you could not achieve. And at the end of your examination in the light of your conscience, you have given thanks to your Creator for everything you have received from Him. Man and all creation have given me their tribute and offering. Blessed are you. As if all the beings gathered at this moment to unite in homage to the Father, so I contemplate all the worlds and all beings united before my gaze. I contemplate even the smallest works done by me, I hear the voices of my beings when they invoke me and the hymn of those who glorify me. In everything created there is life and there is sensitivity, truly I tell you, that even the very stones are sensitive to the divine touch, all beings delight themselves, which is like recreating with my divinity. The Star King is the image of a father who gives his children his life, his energy, his warmth and his light. The earth is like a mother, whose lap is an inexhaustible source of caresses, in her there is the mantle that protects the orphan, the breast that feeds, and the warm and comfortable shelter for her children. Her arcane has revealed her great secrets to men, and chastity and beauty have always been reflected on her face. The year that passed was a test, year in which divine justice made itself felt in every human being. Who hasn't drained the chalice of bitterness? How many loved ones left this earth, to fly to the beyond, because the spiritual life called them? The hearts at last flowed crystal clear water, and many gray hairs appeared on temples of the elderly. However, you also had joys. New children came into the world with their message of innocence, the sick recovered their health, and those of you who had been abandoned saw the loved one return. You listened to me with joy in the spirit and asked me to remove the veil of mystery that surrounds the new year that appears before you as a path that you have to travel, and I say to you, do in the future what you have done in past. Listen to me today when the sap of my word is still spilled among you, like the blood of the Redeemer that was shed at that time in every spirit. A year passed, people, and in it the war did not end, men did not reconcile, the great rulers did not shake hands in peace. And at this precise moment in which you recreate yourselves spiritually in this communion with my divine spirit, lives are falling, the number of orphans and widows is increasing, and the blood continues to run and moisten the earth, the blood of men, which is my blood. I am going to propose peace to men again, entrusting them one more time to reach that supreme good of the Spirit. But if they miss this opportunity, their pains and bitterness will increase. You attract peace with regeneration, with prayer and the practice of my doctrine. Do works worthy of your spirit, which will also be worthy of mine. It is time that you esteem yourselves in something higher, that you give its fair value to what I have placed in man, the Spirit. When you come to have the true knowledge of your value, do not be vain, recognize that you are nothing more than mere mortals, that you are envoys and instruments of my divine designs. Nobody has been born by coincidence, nobody has been created by chance. Understand me and you will recognize that no one is free in the path of his life, that there is a law that rules and governs all destinies. Let's talk, my children, converse with the Master. I have not come to complain to you but to bless you, and just as I began, I want to end my lesson among you caressing you. Tell me in silence your sorrows, trust me with your longings. Although I know everything, I want you to learn to form your own prayer, until you come to practice the perfect communication of your spirit with the Father. Elders, youth, maidens, children and parents, ask that it be given to you. I am a source of justice and love, and I will present you the path of your life illuminated with my light. What do you ask of me for the earth that gives you shelter? What do you feel for all the Father's children? Live in harmony with all beings, because in truth you are all brothers before me. Bless everything created and you will be blessing me. I see that you fear the future, because the shadow of war and the echo of its roar reaches you, because the threat of famine, pestilence and desolation lurks everywhere. But what do you fear if you carry my light in your spirit? Have I not named you soldiers of my cause? Leave the fear for those who do not have faith, for those who are denying me. Many tests will come to humanity, and because of them it will know my divine word and my work. I want your heart to remain sensitive to pain, to the needy, to the hungry, to the sick, to be like the gate of the New Jerusalem, where the people of God, which is humanity, congregate. The sixth seal is untied, and in it you have heard my word through human understanding, which has been among you law, revelation and prophecy. I still grant you 7 years so that in them you listen to me in this way. 7 years in which the spiritual realm will still vibrate through the minds of the chosen ones, and from them you will respond to the Father on the last day of 1950, which will be a trial for you when you hear me speak to you for the last time from the Mount of the New Zion. I write these words in your heart and in your conscience because I want them to be unforgettable for you. Do not forget what you heard from the Divine Master, what you heard from Mary, the Universal Mother, and what you heard from Elijah, the envoy of the Third Era, who, like a shepherd, gathered you in the fold of my love. You have enjoyed many pleasures, but they will end, because the time has come for you to work with purity, attached to my law. Do not have any personal interest in serving me, serve me for love without thinking of the payment or the reward that awaits you. Think of those who suffer, of those who have fallen, of those who do not see the light or know the way, and give them my teaching with charity, lead them towards me, and be careless if they arrive before you, be the last aware of your mission, that I will know how to wait for you, because you will all come to me. People, I grant you a new year to fight. Over war, destruction and death, the blue of the sky will spread like a blanket of peace, I will adorn the face of the earth with flowers, breezes will blow that will be like a tribute of love. The womb of the mothers of all species will be fertile, and their abundance will be for your benefit. I enlighten human intelligence so that it discovers new revelations in nature, for the good of my children. I bless the seas, so that the creatures that inhabit them multiply and men do not suffer hunger after the war. I open breaches so that the various races meet and grow closer. May spring come among you as a gift of peace and hope, of reconciliation and forgiveness among humanity. Summer will burn with the fire of its sun, regions and deserts, where men will fall on their knees before Jehovah when they cross, asking for mercy. Those who had forgotten me will remember me. And the scientists, faced with these phenomena, will be confused, but deep down they will hear my voice telling them to cleanse their planet and their minds to penetrate the path of wisdom. Autumn will bring before me the harvest of those who cultivate the land, and that harvest will be abundant because some nations will return to peace and take up the tools of farming. There will be blessing in the seed, because children and women will cultivate the land in the absence of men. The hands that lay down their weapons and wield the plow will be blessed, and so will be those that were enemies and then embrace as brothers, because bread will descend from heaven as manna descended in the desert. Winter will come and its snows will be the symbol of purification. Everything is ready. Watch and pray, servants. I am also blessing the hands that anoint the sick, the lips that pronounce my word with love, the eyes that overcome sleep watching over the bedside of the dying, the hearts that beat for the suffering, because they are the instruments of the Spirit that know how to rise in prayer for humanity. I come to make your heart beat to a new life, because I find it dead to faith, hope and love. I am the only judge who can judge the spirits, and yet I do not come to see you as criminals, but as sons and disciples. Know how to have me among you as a father, know how to give value to the word that I give you, or do you perhaps want to have me as a judge? Do you want me to make my justice felt not only in my word, but also in your life, so that you wake up and believe me? The seed that I am entrusting to you, you have not always sown well, see that you have not raised the harvest that you expected, but do not abandon the fight for that. Understand that if it is sometimes the cause of your tears, it is also true that in this fulfillment is the peace of your spirit. I don't want to see this people cry on the roads of the earth complaining about the roughness of the trail. At all times I have put you on the path that leads to the mansion where I await you. Do not be afraid to find its door closed. The one who reaches it is because he has traveled all the way. You present your heart to me, and from it, as from a barn, I collect the good seed, and the vain I leave to you to destroy. You must no longer feed on imperfect or impure practices. You are in the third era. Whoever practices my doctrine as I am giving it to you, will be doing my will, and whoever does the will of the Father will be saved. I have given you, through the ages, great proofs of my love. I have given you opportunities to reach me, but you have never obeyed me, and you have preferred the pain of the world with its fleeting joys, to the fulfillment of my law that gives you true peace. If I came to you only as a judge, I would make you tremble, but between my justice and man, the cross is always interposed, and for me only words of love and forgiveness flow. How much I have helped you in this world, so that you do not have to repent when in spirit you come before the judge. You are the same ones who crossed the desert together with Moses, the same ones who followed Jesus through Judea, and still in this time come to ask for miracles to believe, or to request the goods of the earth, as if you did not know the purpose of your destiny. Do not become casual with this manifestation, because you will lose the respect and faith that you must have before it, and what can you take advantage of it if your spirit is absent and your mind distracted? In my divinity there is the love of intercession, it is Mary. How many hearts that were closed to faith have been opened through it by repentance and love? Her maternal essence is in all of creation, it is felt by all, and yet there are those who contemplate her and deny it. Be the tireless sowers of my revelations, so that the world prepares itself and reaches elevation and light. Before my departure, I will prepare the paths for you to walk. You do not know what I have decreed for the last years of my manifestation. I prepare you, because great tests will arise in those days. I will make disappear among you all the mystification that you have brought to my doctrine, so that you know my work in its purity. Watch, people, because after my departure there will be those who rise up making you believe that I continue to manifest myself through human understanding. I leave you alert, and I prepare your heart so that he, knowing my essence and the flavor of this fruit, does not let himself be seduced by impostors. But if you do not prepare yourselves for those times and strip yourselves of what I have given you, how are you going to distinguish the truth from the lie? Do not assimilate evil influences that may distort the knowledge and light that I have given you, because you would be involved in the same cause as those who are going to betray me. Dawn after dawn I have to warn you, so that you live alert and do not falter. Many will mourn my departure, and you will find no consolation. You will live sighing for the time in which I communicated through the human understanding, but in the instance in which you pray, I will enlighten you by making you remember all the grace and the gifts that I deposited in you, so that you do not feel alone or abandoned, but recognizing that I am close to my disciples. Rise up with your inheritance to make merits with works of love in your brothers. Take advantage of this time of teachings, see that in your nation there is peace, while other peoples are being destroyed. It is necessary that you understand that you must create an atmosphere of peace in your town, so that every foreigner who enters among you, rests and is comforted in your bosom, and upon his departure feels enlightened by good thoughts and animated by noble purposes. They must already emerge from the nations, men strong in good and full of light. They will be the ones who will make all those who, having brought a great mission to the world, have made a mistake recognize their errors and faults. The time is also near when epidemics break out in nations, wiping out villages. On this day I ask you, if I sent you to those lands telling you, cross the seas and enter the cities of pain and desolation, would you do it, my children? Beyond death awaits all life, but who are the ones who are going to bring a drop of balm and a word of light to those who can still be resurrected in this life, to the truth? Those must be my disciples. Many men will see the mysteries of my manifestations clarified from this world, and others will have to penetrate the spiritual valley to contemplate the truth. My peace be with you.